My Billionaire Cowboy, blurb. An interracial, billionaire cowboy romance novel. Get ready for an unexpected clash of worlds. Meet Kate, a confident and driven fashion boutique owner whose life revolves around her career and only her career. On the flip side, there's Bruce, a handsome and wealthy businessman who's traded his suits for cowboy boots and a peaceful life out on the ranch. Yet when the two meet, sparks fly in all directions. And before they know it, fashion meets ranch life, and love takes the center stage. Having a rich and rugged cowboy for a boyfriend is a dream come true for Kate. But is Kate ready to find a balance between her career and love life? Or will she end up choosing one over the other? Chapter 1. Working lunches were beginning to be the story of Kate's life. Building an empire was turning out to be more work than she bargained for. Gray's fashion boutique was her baby, and for the past 2 years, Kate had thought of nothing else. Since childhood, she lived and breathed fashion and beauty. She combed through fashion magazines, went through a period of time when her hair was purple, and spent hours styling her friends for prom and school dances. Her parents tolerated what they considered to be her hobby. When it was time to apply for college, she decided to forego an entrance into Milner Fashion Institute to instead earn a business degree from the university. That education was not for nothing. After finishing, she followed her dream and attended Milner and paired the knowledge of the two by starting her boutique. All of her inventory was initially online, but that grew steadily into the need to have a brick-and-mortar location. Gray's was in a quaint section of the city, and she was quickly becoming the toast of Los Angeles. A mention by a local fashion blogger had given her more business than she knew how to handle, and now she set her sights on getting back to what she always loved, styling. "Are we eating in again?" Kate looked up from her soup and sandwich to see Linda. "I am. How about you?" Linda shook her head. All work and no play makes Kate a very dull girl. Kate smiled at the joke. "I get it. But I have so much to do here. I have numbers to run and a couple client files to get in order before this weekend. Going out to lunch just seems a bit dash." Kate paused. Linda put her hand on her hip. "A bit like fun? Maybe relaxing even?" Kate rolled her eyes in jest. "Maybe even relaxing. You could be right. Let's set a lunch date for this week." "I promise." Linda smiled. "At least that's something. Look, I'm going to go out, grab a bite to eat, and then I will be back to finish working those files," she said, pointing to the files spread out in front of Kate. The bell on the front door chimed as Linda left. Kate was appreciative of the woman and all that she did for Gray's. Since the day Kate opened the doors to the boutique, Linda had been her right hand. She was there through everything, and Kate was grateful to have someone working with her that not only understood her vision, but helped her execute that vision in a way that fit her brand. Linda was right. She had not made much time for socializing or dating for that matter. Any events she attended were purely for networking. Kate could not remember the last date she went on or when she last went out just for fun. She enjoyed what she did for a living, and that seemed like enough to fulfill her at the moment. Being caught up in falling in love had never served her well. There had been one serious relationship, and that ended because he did not understand her drive and ambition. Even her mother told her that she would never find the right man if she spent all of her time working. It was such an isolating feeling not having people understand her urge to further her career before finding love. She simply had her life on a plan, and being in love had nothing to do with that plan right now. She was okay with the way things were, and Kate felt that everyone else should just back off. Love was something she wanted, something she desired. As a girl, she often dreamed of falling in love with her own knight in shining armor. It was just that in her dating life, she had not met a man that would come close to that persona, and she was beginning to think that finding true love was like finding a unicorn. As she ate the last of her soup, she enjoyed the jazz playing in the background. Her life was exactly the way she wanted it right now. No stress, no drama, no issues. Clicking the tab closed on the computer, she closed the laptop. There were 2 clients she had to pull outfits for and a few other potential clients she had to follow up with for services. Before she knew it, over an hour had gone by and the outfits had been pulled and tagged to be readied for the clients. Thank goodness you are back. Can you call the dash? Kate started as she heard the door chime. She stopped short as she entered the front retail space. Oh. I'm sorry. How can I help you? The man standing before her looked like a deer in headlights. He was standing there, looking around, nervously twirling his thumbs, rising up and down on his toes. He was a big man, and he looked out of place standing in the middle of the boutique. A large 10-gallon hat, tight jeans that appeared dusty, a white-collared button-down shirt, and a pair of worn cowboy boots were his attire. Well. He was stuttering and seemed barely able to put a thought together. Let me guess. You need a little something for your wife or girlfriend. Kate tried to make the shopping experience easier for the gentleman. When he still did not answer, she replied, Maybe for both? Her comment obviously broke the ice because he let out a hearty laugh. Actually, neither. I need some style for myself. He used his hands to display his own outfit. I heard that you were the best in town. Kate extended her hand to him. I'm Kate. Nice to meet you, mister. Please, just call me Bruce. It's a pleasure to meet you, Kate. She could not help but get lost for a moment in his steel blue eyes. He looked to be in his mid-40s, strong build, a brawny guy. His graying hair peeked from under the large brimmed hat pulled back in a ponytail. His skin looked tough and tanned, and she could tell that he worked with his hands by the calluses on his palms. Kate tucked her black tresses behind her left ear. She gave him a friendly smile, hoping he would feel calm. Why don't you come over here, Bruce? We will create a profile for you and get you started. Kate led the way to her desk area. She flipped open her laptop and beckoned for Bruce to have a seat. He pulled out the chair, the look on his face still displaying anxiety. You can be sure that you are in good hands with me, Bruce. I have a lot of men that come to me for fashion consulting. Everyone wants to look good, male or female, right? She raised an eyebrow, hoping to see a sense of peace come over Bruce. He relaxed a bit in his chair. So where do we start? Kate began asking him the questions on the questionnaire. They went over everything from favorite color to what his daily outfit looked like. After the 10th question, it looked like Bruce was checking out. Just a few more questions, Bruce, Kate responded, engrossed in recording the answers to the questions. Bruce leaned back and crossed his leg. Look, I'm a simple man. I like my dungarees, my boots, and my hat. I have probably 20 pairs of the same pants and just as many white shirts. When I work the ranch, I wear a black t-shirt and dungarees. This hat is one of my favorites, and I like my belt buckles shiny. But of course I can't show up for this meeting with my client like this. I just need one of those monkey suits and I'll be on my way. Kate set the computer to the side and gave Bruce her full attention. She could see that he was going to be a harder client to break. Bruce, I live and breathe fashion. I have been styling people as long as I can remember. This is what I do. You have to trust the process. I can definitely make you look great, make sure you feel comfortable, and I promise you that you will look way better than a monkey in a suit. A grin spread across Bruce's lips. Aha! I knew I could get you to relax a bit. Now, we'll go over to the fitting area. I need to get your measurements. Right this way. Bruce stood there stoically, and Kate caught him admiring himself in the mirror. She laughed at his actions as she pulled out the tape measure. What's so funny? Nothing, she shook her head. Can you take your hat off, please? He nodded and removed the hat, revealing salt and peppered graying hair. Bruce was naturally handsome, and on top of his outwardly hard demeanor, there seemed a bit of a gentle nature in his eyes. Kate began taking his measurements and tried to create a little small talk. So, you said that you work on a ranch. Where do you live? A woman that listens to the little things. I like it, he commented. I help my parents with their ranch about 30 miles outside of the city. Your parents? That's nice. I don't think I've ever met anyone that owned a ranch. It's a small thing. Not really anything serious. My parents own the land and a few cattle and chickens. Nothing expansive or anything like that. Have you ever been outside of the city? Kate shook her head. Not really. Maybe once or twice on a school field trip or so. I'm a city girl. I love LA and wouldn't really live anywhere else. She recorded the last of the measurements. There now. We are all finished. Hope that was painless. Yes, pretty much. I survived. Good. Now I have a few things in mind for you. I have to pull a few things from a couple designers. Is your event business casual or black tie? Business. Let's just say, I need to wow a few people and really make an impression. Impressions are my thing. Bruce, you are in good hands. I will get these outfits pulled and come out to bring them to you for a fitting in the comfort of your own home in 2 days. Sounds good to me. Bruce slid his feet in his boots. I will expect to see you in a few days. Other than that, is there anything I can do for you? I think that about covers it, Bruce. She extended her hand to shake his. Thank you for your business. You are very welcome, Kate. I'm trusting you to find just the right monkey suit. She playfully rolled her eyes. Will do. After Bruce left, Kate could not shake the giddy feeling that churned inside of her. She liked a challenge. And Bruce's sense of style was just that. A challenge. His fashion sense left a lot to be desired. That was usually the case with most of her clients, but working with Bruce, she would have to start at square one. Her clients came to her at varying levels of style, but since she mostly worked with rich businessmen and businesswomen and Beverly Hills housewives, she usually had a little something to work with. She would have to put in a lot of work convincing him to wear what she suggested. It was obvious that he had a strong personality. He seemed a bit stubborn and stuck in his ways, but that would not be unlike every other socialite she had worked with. Her clients were quirky, and she had a knack for dealing effectively with them, so that would not be an issue. Kate wondered if Bruce knew that she knew he was staring at her when she worked on his computer profile. His eyes traveled the length of her body when he spoke to her. She wondered what was going on in his mind when they spoke about his ranch and how he wanted to make a good impression at his event. From the look in his eyes, she could tell he was not thinking about the subject at hand. She knew what it looked like when a man admired her. It had not been that long since she was the object of interest for someone. Men eyed her all of the time. She was a natural beauty. Long straight jet black hair, mahogany complexion, curvy hips, and an impeccable sense of style. Kate loved life, and at 27, she felt like she had the world at her palms. "Hey there, I'm back," Linda called out from the front door. "Oh, great. Just in time." She finalized the rest of Bruce's profile and turned to Linda. "Wait, what is going on here?" Kate looked around. "What are you talking about? Who was here? You're blushing." Kate felt her cheeks heating, and all of a sudden she felt nervous. "Oh my goodness. I'm not some high school girl. Of course I'm not blushing." She self-consciously wiped her cheek as if she could have wiped away the rosiness of her cheeks. "Sure. Okay. Whatever you say. Anyway, who is he? Is he one of those millionaire playboys who cruise Beverly Hills in his Lamborghini spending his family's money all day on posh models?" "Not at all. Actually, he is just the opposite." Linda stopped flipping through the sales receipts and turned to Kate. "Tell me more, Kate. Now you have me intrigued." Kate was giddy with excitement, but she did not want to let that on to Linda. She did not really believe it herself. She tried to play it off. "His name is Bruce. He's definitely not a millionaire. He's just this simple man that runs a ranch somewhere outside of the city. I don't even think he comes into LA that much. Well, at least his clothes say that he doesn't get to LA that much." Kate shrugged. "That's it? That's all you have to say about him?" Linda drummed her cotton candy pink nails on the desk, waiting for an answer. The door chimed. "Welcome to Gray's Fashion Boutique. How can we help you?" Kate could not believe her eyes. Linda was greeting none other than Bruce. Her heart threatened to jump right out of her chest. When she opened her mouth to speak, she could barely get the words out of her mouth. "Yes, well. Here." Bruce passed her a steaming hot cup of coffee. "Thank you. You really did not have to do this." Bruce nodded. "I saw that you were finished yours, and I thought it would be a great gesture for the start of our relationship." "Well, working relationship." Kate sipped the hot liquid. "Wow, and you got exactly what I liked?" Bruce shrugged. "I read your preference from the side of the cup. I really can't take all of the credit." Everyone laughed, and it set them all at ease. "Bruce, this is my co-worker and pretty much partner, Linda. Linda, this is Bruce, one of our new clients. We are going to dress him for a gala he has to attend in a few weeks. Linda came over and shook Bruce's hand while Kate sipped on her coffee. Nice to meet you, Bruce. Please know that you are in good hands with us here at Gray's. We love what we do and Kate is one of the best in the city. There was Bruce, giving her that look again. The look that said he wanted her, wanted something she was not sure she was willing to give. It was about more than the coffee he had just brought her. Well, I just wanted to bring coffee as a sort of peace offering to you. I know I was a bit of a bear earlier and I want you to know that you have carte blanche when working with me. I am yours to dress. When he spoke, he held his arms spread open, voice booming. In that moment, he was attractive. The openness he displayed was a bit endearing. Do we have an appointment for the fitting? Linda asked Kate. We do. I already have that set. Bruce, was there anything else you needed from the team? Bruce clasped his hands together. I think we are set. Enjoy the coffee. The door chimed when he exited. Linda turned to her, giggling like a giddy schoolgirl. So that is him? Kate tried to busy herself so she would not display the embarrassment she was feeling. You say him like it's a thing or something, Linda. It is a thing. I've never had a client come back with coffee. Kate rolled her eyes. It was simply coffee. Nothing more. Nothing less. He purposely checked to see what kind you liked. What man really takes note of detail like that? I don't know. But it's really not that serious. Really. He's just a client. Linda tapped her pen on the desk. All right. I will let it go, but believe me when I say that man wants you. Back to work, you. Kate did not want to think about Bruce or the possibility that he had any interest in her at all. She did not want it to get in the middle of her job with him. There was a reputation she wanted to uphold and she did not want anything or anyone getting between her and her career. Linda was insane. There was no way that Bruce was interested in her. He was obviously a country boy and he was not anything like any man she had ever met before. He looked like the type that was one with nature, liked animals. She was the exact opposite. The most nature she needed was the warm California sunshine, and she was not into pets and animals, which if he owned a ranch, he would have to be interested in. There was no way he was attracted to her. She knew she was younger than him, and living in LA where she was immersed in the fashion world was a complete contrast to a middle-aged man who lived outside of the city on a cattle ranch. But there was a spark. There was a little something there when they were in each other's presence. It could not be explained. What was it? Her mother often talked about love at first sight. To Kate, that kind of concept was impossible. How could you meet someone and immediately fall in love with someone you did not know? That would be a bit too unpredictable. Love seemed like the type of thing that a couple should work on over time. Like a plant, something that needed to be nurtured or cultivated and that needed a bit of help along the way when it started to wilt. Love did not seem like the kind of thing that cataclysmically just happened, leaving two people basking in its glory. She believed in the power of attraction, but she did not believe that two people would meet and immediately hit it off to the point that they marry, love, and live happily ever after. That was made specifically for the storybooks of fairy tales. What grown adult would live life looking for something like that? Kate threw herself back onto her pillow. This was way too much to focus on at the moment. She had a burgeoning career as a fashion stylist and no time to wonder if some man had an attraction to her. No time to wonder if he liked her today or if he could deal with her tomorrow. Her career, on the other hand, was something she could better control. Dream up an idea, set a goal, achieve that goal. Very simple. No worries about feelings or anything like that. Sure, in fashion there were opinions and feelings on style, but those were subjective. What one person hated, another person loved, but all styles were treasured and respected because it was fashion. Kate could navigate fashion all day. But navigating love and relationships was not her thing. She stumbled and fumbled so much over the years, finding love seemed foreign. So she just plain gave up on it. Stop thinking about this, Kate, she said to herself. She picked up one of her favorite fashion magazines to change her mind. Kate still loved the feel of flipping through the magazine, so she always kept a stack of them on file so she could search for inspiration. Between the pages of those fashion magazines was where she felt most comfortable. And staying in her comfort zone right now seemed like the perfect place to be. Chapter 2. The GPS was leading her directly to an address downtown, not far from the boutique. Kate was on her way to the fitting for Bruce, and the last place she would have thought they would meet would be at a condo high-rise. She had no idea what to expect with Bruce. He seemed to be a gentle soul, but him returning to the boutique with coffee, that he so expertly inspected to get her the right flavor, threw her off. As she arrived at her destination, she pulled into the underground parking garage and found a spot. She was right on time. Bruce's directions told her that he was on the 8th floor. She took the elevator to her destination, and when the doors opened into an expansive hallway, she was amazed. The red carpet spread across the floor, gold sconces with soft lighting led the way down the corridor. 8B was halfway down the hall on the right. She took a deep breath as she knocked on the door. She had been to a million fittings before, so Kate was not sure why she was suddenly nervous. "Hello, Kate. It's good to see you." When he opened the door, the butterflies in her stomach swirled even more. "Hi, Bruce." She nervously pushed her hair back behind her ear. His big smile warmed her heart. "Come on in." Kate looked around, impressed with her surroundings. "Is this your place?" "Yes. It's lovely." "For a country boy like myself?" Bruce said, one eyebrow raised. Kate laughed. "No. That was not the end of my sentence. I was going to say how much I liked the decor. I love the sculptures. You have great taste." "Thank you. Can I get you something to drink?" He closed the door behind her. "Water would be perfect." "Nothing a little heavier?" Kate thought for a moment. Maybe a little something edgier would tame the butterflies in her stomach. "No. Really, water is fine." She wanted to have her wits about her when dealing with Bruce. She took a look around while Bruce returned with the drinks. "A water for you. A little Jack and Coke for me." He raised his glass in a toast and then took a sip. "Well now, where do we start?" he asked. Kate pulled her tape measure out of her bag. If I could get a place to set up, that would be wonderful. I have your suit and your shoes. And if you have a floor-length mirror, that would be great so you can see the entire look. Right this way. She followed him into an enormous room. The master suite was roomy and decorated with a masculine touch. I have a floor-length mirror in my changing room. We can do the fitting there. Kate let him lead the way. What he called his changing room was actually his closet. The space was big enough to be its own retail store. Rows of shoes lined the shelves and all of his shirts were hanging in order by color. She found a place to hang the suit and set everything out for him to dress. I'll step out for a moment while you get dressed. She stepped to the side while he dressed. When he came back in, he stood there in a navy blue tailored suit with a silver gray shirt and matching tie. What do you think? Kate turned to see him standing there looking as handsome as ever in the suit. It was as if he was a whole other person. In the suit, he looked nothing like the cowboy that walked into the boutique. Besides the ponytail, in the suit, he looked dashing and suave. I think you look terrific. Let me see here. She began to make a fuss over him, pulling the tape measure here and there to make sure the measurements were correct. She added a few pins to the shoulders of the jacket and fixed the hem of the pants. How does the suit feel? It feels great. I think you did a wonderful job finding just what I wanted. Like I said, I'm not that into all of this fashion and styling. But you've done well getting me what I need. Kate pinned the last pin. By the looks of your closet, I can't tell that you are not into fashion. It looks like you have everything you need right here. We probably could have gotten a killer suit from your own private collection. Bruce laughed as he admired himself in the mirror. I could see how you could feel that way. But really, I needed something that was a step up from the business suits I own. And why is it that you own business suits when you work on a ranch? The moment the words escaped her lips, Kate felt that she had overstepped her boundaries. I'm so sorry. I spoke out of turn. I really did not mean to get into your business like that. Not a problem. I could see how things could be a bit confusing. You wait right here. I'm going to change, and when I come back, I will tell you the answer to that question. Kate shook her head and tried to take her foot out of her mouth. She was so embarrassed. She shoved her materials into her bag and prepped the dress bag to pack Bruce's suit. I'm so sorry, she said again as he emerged from the dressing area. Really, don't be. He placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. When we met, I told you that I was a cowboy living on a ranch. Now, here you are at my city apartment helping to fit me for a suit for a gala. I could see how that could appear a bit like I did not tell you the truth. Kate shrugged. She was not sure what to say. Kate, can I take you out to grab a bite to eat? I will be sure to tell you my story while we fill out stomachs. I usually don't mix business with pleasure. The look on Bruce's face was one of patience. She could tell he wanted her to say yes, and the truth was she wanted to know more about him. Okay. I think I will take you up on your offer. Where do you suggest? Can you trust me on this? She nodded. It was not often she had a little excitement in her life. All right. Bruce was dressed again in his jeans and crisp white shirt with cowboy boots. "Are you ready?" "Sure." They took the elevator down to the parking garage. Kate's mind was twirling. What kind of car would he drive? Maybe it would be a fast convertible or some kind of large Cadillac. Bruce was a big guy, so he could not drive anything too small. He pressed the key fob and the alarm chirped on a large white shiny pickup truck. "This here is my baby. Is riding in the pickup okay with you?" "Yes." "It's fine." Kate waited as he politely opened the door for her. He was the proper gentleman. He quickly walked around to the driver's side and hopped in. The truck was kitted out with all kinds of bells and whistles. "Off we go. We are going to eat at one of my favorite places. I hope you enjoy it." Kate was interested to see where they would be going. She sent a brief text to Linda to let her know that she would be going out with Bruce to grab a bite to eat and would be back to the boutique as soon as she finished. Linda told her not to worry and that she should enjoy herself for once and enjoy her company. For once, Kate planned to do just that. They left the city and the ride was picturesque. Mountains in the background, nothing but open road in front of them. Everything looked so peaceful and serene. It was the kind of thing Kate longed for, but her life right now called for her to be engaged in the hustle of the city. "I don't think I've been this far outside of the city since I was a kid." A wide grin came across Bruce's face. "Childhood memories. Nice. Where did you go?" Kate shook her head. "Oh, I don't really remember. It was a camping trip with my Girl Scout troop when I was in elementary school." "You? Camping?" He chuckled. "You just don't seem like the type." "I'm not offended. I'm not the camping type." She had to laugh to herself. That weekend surely cemented that for me. Well, there is nothing like figuring out what you are good at and what you are not. They both shared a laugh as they came upon an out-of-the-way diner situated at the foot of a mountain. There was nothing else around for miles. A neon sign blinked the word diner in red. "Where did you find this place?" "I don't live too far from here. I love eating here. The food is good. The music is good and I can usually find some engaging conversation. But today, I've brought my own company, so I'm very much looking forward to my evening." Kate could feel herself blushing. She waited for him to come around to the passenger side and open her door. She loved that he was such a gentleman. "Thank you." His hand was in the small of her back as he led her inside. The place was cozy and inviting. "Well, hey there, hon. How are you?" The busty waitress approached them. She looked like a former beauty queen in her late 40s. "Really good, Dinah. How are you?" "Wonderful." She flirtatiously smoothed back her hair and smiled. "Right this way." With a little twist in her hips, she turned on her toes and began leading them to their table. "This one is perfect, Dinah." "Thank you." He pulled out a chair for Kate. "I have menus here for you too, although I know you don't need a menu." "Here you go." Dinah placed a menu in front of Kate with a pleasant smile. "And here you go," she winked at Bruce. "I'll be back for your orders." She bounced away. Kate began looking at her menu. No wonder you like the company here. She grinned. Ah, well. What can I say? Kate could tell he was starting to blush himself. What do you usually eat here? Everything looks pretty good. Well, I'm a steak and potatoes kind of guy. Kate nodded. Sounds good to me. I'm pretty hungry. What can I get you both? Dinah asked. Your usual Bruce? Bruce paused for a moment. I think I'll try something different. Dinah's face fell flat, but she picked it up with a grin. Tell me what I can get ya, hon. I'll let the lady order first. Okay. I'll have the broccoli casserole, the potato soup, and a Caesar side salad. Bruce chimed in. That sounds delicious. I'll have the same. A confused look came across Dinah's face. All right, she answered. And what can I get you two to drink? I'll have a white wine, Kate ordered. And I'll have a coffee, black. Dinah wrote down the order and walked away. A Coca-Cola and a black coffee. Coming right up. Kate frowned as Dinah walked away. I'm pretty sure that I asked for a white wine. Bruce held his hands up. Does this look like a white wine kind of place? Kate laughed. I get your point. She looked around, this time truly taking in the ambience. It was the kind of greasy spoon joint you saw on television. Jukebox in the corner, cook yelling as he served up plates, hot coffee constantly brewing, and a counter full of freshly baked cakes and pies. As she checked everything out, she caught sight of Dinah continuing to stare in their direction. Kate looked confused. So have the two of you dated? You and Dinah? Bruce shook his head. No. Dinah is a sweet woman. She's not my type, though. Kate nodded. She wanted to know what his type was, but she did not want to ask. Instead, she changed the subject. So, you were supposed to be telling me about this double life you've been living. Ah, yes. My double life as it is. It's not as complicated as you think. Tell me more. I can see how it seems like I'm a bit ambiguous. I haven't been a cowboy my entire life. My parents own the ranch where I grew up. It's been in my family for decades. I love being there, but I worked for a while as an accountant. It's a complete life of opposites, but it's who I am. My career as an accountant was fulfilling, but I had to make sure that I took care of the ranch as well. So I went back to working the family business. Simple as that. The way he spoke was frank and to the point. That's it? That's it. Bruce folded his hands and set them on the table, twirling his thumbs. The way he stared at her intently was intimidating. It was as if he was able to look right through her and see directly into her soul. The food arrived and they had comfortable conversation over dinner. Bruce was witty and intelligent. He was the kind of man she had been looking for in her life. If he had come at another time, he would be the kind of man she would date. But right now it was not the right time. She had so much going on with work in her career, and she had not given the tiniest thought to dating until now. For some reason, sitting here at the table with Bruce, she was thinking about dating. He was far from her normal type, and at first glance, they seemed like an odd pair. Interesting. I would have never guessed you were an accountant. Tell me more about you. Now it was his turn to change the subject. There's not much to tell. I'm an only child. Born and raised here in LA. I've loved fashion my entire life. It's all I do. And grays is the culmination of all that I do. I love a woman with ambition. I find it extremely attractive. There he was again, staring at her with those deep blue pools. Kate was suddenly lost in them and she could not figure out what was going on. He was practically leaning across the table and she was not sure if he was going to try to kiss her. Thank you, she replied. He simply nodded and turned his attention back to his food. Do you have anywhere that you need to be this evening? Not really. I basically live at the boutique, so I'll be going back there when I finish dinner. I would hate to take you away from your passion. Never mind. Kate sipped her Coke. What? Come on, don't play shy with me. What are you thinking? Maybe some dancing and a ride down the highway. Some time for us to get to know one another. The way he said it, he sounded so endearing. His suggestion was inviting. Count me in. Kate responded before she could talk herself out of it. Dinah, can we get the check? He held his hand up. Sure, hon, she was multitasking, across the room bringing out an order for another customer. Dinah came right over to them, slid the check out of the pocket on her apron and sat it on the table. With a plastered-on smile, she first looked at Kate. I hope you enjoyed your meal, hon. She turned to Bruce. I'll see you later. Dinah slid her hand slowly over Bruce's shoulder, and then she sauntered around behind him. Thank you, Dinah. You're a doll as usual. He placed a tip on the table and held his hand out for Kate, who took his hand and stood up. Dinah looked her up and down and shrugged, walking off. She's really into you. Bruce chuckled. Maybe. Maybe not. She's really a sweetheart. Takes good care of me. Of course I don't cook at home, so I take a lot of my meals out and I especially like the food here. He ended the topic quickly in a way that let Kate know he did not want to talk about it. She agreed. Continuing could toe the line between making jokes about Dinah's behavior and become downright uncomfortable. Where to now? I have an idea. I hope that you like it. Let's go. Kate sat back for the ride and decided that taking a moment to enjoy what was going on in that very second was really not that bad. When they approached the parking lot, Kate tried to take in all of her surroundings. The gravel under the tires crunched from the weight of the truck. A sign on the front flashed open in green. The lighting was a bit too dim to figure out where they were. It looked like a log cabin more than anything. Kate could not think of what they could possibly be doing there. I come here all of the time, Bruce blurted out. I get that. Kate was not sure how she would fit in once they walked inside and she heard the country music. Bruce smiled warmly. Come on. You'll be just fine. He held her hand as they entered the place. Music was blasting and people were dancing and having what looked like a good time. Bruce pulled her onto the dance floor and she immediately caught the moves. Hips twisting, twirling around, slapping thighs. Everyone was dancing and having a good time. Kate suddenly felt so carefree and it was something she had not felt, Well, when she thought about it, she could not remember when she felt that way ever. By the time she looked at her watch, it was well after 9 at night. I really think I should get home. The words came out of her mouth, but she really was not sure that she wanted to go home. She wanted to stay with Bruce and see what more was in store. That's fine. He squeezed her hand. I think I've stolen away enough of your time. Kate shook her head. I don't see it that way at all. In fact, this is one of the best days I've ever had. I can't remember when I've had so much fun. She could not stop giggling. Bruce held his arm out for her, and she linked hers in his as they left. Add that to my list of things that I've never done. Bruce eyed her. You keep a list of things that you've never done? She nodded. I do. Just a mental list. Nothing serious. A few things that I would really like to do when I get the chance. They were standing outside near Bruce's truck, the stars in the night sky shining ever so brightly. What's number one? A feeling of embarrassment washed over Kate. She did not want to admit some of the things on her list, and she was a bit upset that she even mentioned the list in the first place. Come on, Bruce urged. Tell me. Kate looked around nervously, then decided she may as well spill it. Well, there are simple things like go to Paris or have lunch at the Space Needle. Then there are things like skydiving or snorkeling at the Great Barrier Reef. She shrugged. Those sound very exciting. Really? Yes, they do. And I would love to go with you to do some of them. Kate cocked her head to the side. You know what, Bruce, I just may take you up on that offer. Chapter 3. Her night with Bruce had been exciting. Kate could not remember the last time she had been out on a night on the town. She had the chance to have a few drinks, dance, and really let her hair down. And Bruce had been the one to show her that. Most of the guys her own age were so caught up in doing things strictly to get likes on social media. Bruce actually seemed to enjoy her company and enjoy being with her that night. It was refreshing to be the center of his attention. Kate felt like she was floating on air when she waltzed into the boutique. Wow, what has gotten into you? Linda asked. Kate felt her cheeks go hot. Whatever do you mean? She replied jokingly. I mean, you look like a whole new woman. What changed from last night to today? Oh, nothing much, Kate gushed. Linda tapped her pen on the counter. I know you are not going to sit and look at me with that giggling smile and starry eyes and say nothing is going on. I may have gone out on a little date after work. Linda dropped the papers she was holding in her hand. You went out on a date. Something like that. It wasn't really that serious. Just a little dinner and dancing. That sounds like a date. Not something like a date. A real date. Fine, it was a date. He asked and I accepted. Can I ask who it was? Kate waited a moment. She was not sure if she wanted to share who it was just yet. All I will say is that he is not the kind of guy you would expect to see me with. So, let me get this straight. Not only did you go out on a date, but now you're being all cryptic with your description of the date and who the date was. I don't understand. For months, you have been telling me that I should date. And the one time I go out and enjoy myself, you have something to say. The bell rang, signaling someone was walking in the door. Welcome to Gray's, both Linda and Kate greeted at the same time. Delivery for Kate. The young man standing there held a purple vase with a bouquet of long-stemmed lilies and a light blue box tied with a white silk bow. He handed her a card in a blue envelope. Thank you. Linda was staring at her like she would burst. Are you going to open that any time soon? Linda pointed at the envelope. Yes. Kate snapped out of the fog she was in and slid her finger along the seal of the envelope. I had an amazing time in your company. Please do me the favor of joining me on Sunday night for a little business mixed with pleasure. Bruce. Business mixed with pleasure? Really? Kate was embarrassed by Linda's teasing. Oh, come on. It's just a nice gesture after me fitting him for the suit. Something fell out from the envelope onto the floor. Oh, wow. He sent pictures. Linda peeked over her shoulder. Is that him? Kate nodded as she admired how good he looked. The man that came into Gray's was mildly scruffy and looked like he worked outdoors for a living. The man in the picture was very dapper and looked like the suit he wore was made just for him. He had his hair pulled back in a sleek ponytail and he was completely clean-shaven. His steel blue eyes were the focus of his face. He does not look anything like the man that walked in here the other day. He cleans up well. Very well, Kate mumbled to herself more than anyone else. You act like you did not know he could look this good. Weren't you just out with him doing dinner and dancing? What did he look like then? Normal. He actually had a 5 o'clock shadow, jeans, and a button-down white shirt. Cowboy boots, a big belt buckle. In no way, shape or form did I expect distinguished gentleman, magazine front cover ready. So now what? What are you talking about? Linda rolled her eyes. I hate when you act like you have no clue what I'm talking about. First off, open that blue box. Second, now that you know that Mr. Cowboy here has the ability to clean it up and look sexy, what happens next between the two of you? Kate held her hand up. Hold that thought. She untied the ribbon, letting it slip from her fingers and lifted the top of the box. Is it jewelry? Linda asked excitedly. Maybe a cute tennis bracelet. And you say that I'm the one with the imagination. Of course it's not jewelry. We've only just met and the date was not a real date. Jewelry would be way too much too fast. She pulled the contents from the box. What is all of that junk? Linda's tone revealed the fact that she had been let down. A huge grin came across Kate's face. She pulled out the keychain with a French saying on it. Next was a brochure for skydiving, and then a DVD of Finding Nemo. She could do nothing but laugh. I guess I missed the inside joke here. Linda stood with her hands on her hips, rolled her eyes, and walked off to start pulling a few outfits for a new client. Oh, goodness. Bruce and I had this conversation about the things that I wanted to do in life that I haven't done yet. I mentioned I always wanted to go to France, go skydiving, and swim in the Great Barrier Reef. And somewhere in here, you find it endearing that he sent you a keychain, a brochure, and a kiddie movie? Call me crazy, but I'm not seeing the romance in this, Kate. You must be blind. But that's not my fault, Linda. It's the thought that counts, and he thought enough of me to do a little something special for me. Plus the flowers are my absolute favorite. Linda shrugged. To each his own. I just don't find it too sweet. If he was really thinking of you, there would be a plane ticket to Paris in that box, not a crummy keychain. But hey, what do I know? Kate wanted to answer that question and tell Linda she knew absolutely nothing about love at all. What Bruce had done meant he listened to her, considered her feelings, and acted on it by sending her a gift and flowers. She had not had a man do anything like that for her, and she found it romantic, no matter what Linda thought. Well, I don't know if he would have the money to take me on some whirlwind trip to Paris anyway. He's an accountant, only part-time though. That's why he goes to those gala events. His family has a small ranch he said is not doing well, and he takes care of his parents. He's working class just like me, so this is more than enough. I don't expect that after going out once, he would whisk me away on some all-expense-paid trip. See, that's the problem. You should be expecting those exotic trips and a whirlwind romance. And preferably from a guy closer to your age. This Bruce. I mean, he's attractive and everything, but don't you think he's a little old for you? Kate shrugged. First off, he's only 41. He's not old. Second, it's not like we are an item. We went to grab something to eat one time. It's not like we're getting married tomorrow. Linda raised an eyebrow. You're the one who mentioned Bruce and marriage in the same thought. Not me. Exasperated, Kate shook her head and took the items to the back to her office. Linda meant well, but her comments were not helpful at all. Kate wanted to find love, and she knew she would eventually. As far as she was concerned, love and dating were not top priorities. But after having such a good time with Bruce, she would at least consider an occasional night out on the town with good company. She pulled out her phone and dialed his number. When he did not answer, she left him a message. Hi Bruce, this is Kate. I wanted to tell you that I enjoyed our evening together. Thank you for making me take time out of my work schedule to have a little fun. I just got the beautiful flowers you sent me. And the answer to your question is yes, I will join you on Sunday. I will talk with you soon. She clicked to end the call and realized that she was beaming like a schoolgirl in love with her first crush. Once she agreed to go with Bruce to the gala was when the real fun started. That afternoon, the first of several gifts arrived for Kate. A gift card for a 1-hour spa treatment. The next day, a card with a note attached that she had an appointment set for a manicure and a pedicure. The day before the gala, a corsage, white with faint yellow coloring, and a note saying that she should be prepared for a limo to pick her up on Sunday at 7 in the evening. She had not heard from him by phone at all, just the daily gifts. In those few days, Kate anticipated what he would send next, but she was never able to guess correctly. Bruce was full of surprises, and she liked that about him. Kate went through a lot of thought to choose the correct dress for the gala. She finally settled on wearing a gold-beaded gown, accessorized by a small clutch. She wore her hair neatly back in a chignon, and her makeup was expertly applied. It had been a while since she was out to a black tie function. Playing dress-up was the best part of going someplace like that. The limo arrived promptly. She was feeling like Cinderella, waiting for her coach to arrive. Right this way, ma'am. The chauffeur stepped aside the open door. Thank you. Once inside, he closed the door, leaving her to the chilled champagne that awaited her. There was an official invitation placed on the seat next to her. She picked it up, fingering the gold detailing on the border. Obviously, it was a gallant affair. Hosted by one of the largest accounting firms in the city, she knew she would have to tolerate being there while they hobnobbed with some of the city's most elite business people. It was something she always wanted to do, so she resigned to make sure that she smiled, paid attention, and was the perfect date for the evening. They pulled up to the condo in the city where she had met Bruce for his fitting. As he walked outside, she saw him come out in a perfectly tailored tuxedo. His hair was pulled back in a ponytail and he looked red carpet ready. "You look wonderful," she said as he got in the limo. "I learned from the best. But I must say, you look sensational. I can't wait to see how this dress fits you in all of the right places." Kate sipped her champagne as the limo drove off to their destination. "I have to say thank you." "For what?" She placed her hand on his knee. "For all of the gifts." The day at the spa was sensational, and of course the manicure and pedicure was as well. He nodded. "My first thought was to send you shopping for a dress of your choice. But I figured that was not in order since you are a stylist with your own boutique." They both laughed. "I think you are right about that, Bruce. I hope that you liked everything. It was the least I could do for the woman that agreed to be my date to this gala. You really did not have to do all of that for me, Bruce." "Really?" He took her by the hand, kissing her skin gently. "Oh, but I had to. A woman like you in the company of a man like me." "You say that as if being in your company is a challenge. Trust me when I say that it is not that hard. I am enjoying the company." The grin that came across Bruce's lips was one of relief. "That's good to hear. I hope you will still feel the same after tonight's gala. It's just going to be a bunch of talk with numbers and things that are uninteresting to people who are not in the accounting world. I'm sure I can find my way tonight. It will just be nice to share another evening with you. Our first official evening out." "Official? We are making this official, are we?" Kate thought about it for the moment. "At least we can start with this evening. Take it baby steps from there." Bruce held out his hand. "Agreed." Kate shook his hand. Bruce pulled her in for a kiss. His tongue danced lightly with hers. His lips were soft and the kiss was so gentle, it left her wanting more. "We should stop before you ruin your perfect makeup." The truth was that she did not want to stop, but she nodded. "It's for the best anyway. We're here." She gasped as she saw the venue. It was a 5-star hotel she often heard of that boasted an elite ballroom and luxury accommodations. "Wow. I've seen this place in the local magazine, but I've never been here before." Bruce stepped out of the limo first and turned to offer her his arm. "Then we get a chance to mark something off of your list of firsts." Kate smoothed her dress as she stepped out of the limo. Several couples were entering the hotel, arm in arm. "You look ravishing," Bruce whispered in her ear. Her cheeks felt hot, she could tell she was blushing. "Thank you," she whispered back. As soon as they stepped in the grand ballroom, Bruce began to smile and greet others as he and Kate walked in on the scarlet-colored carpet. It seemed that he knew everyone. He whisked Kate around, introducing her to everyone who cared to ask about the identity of his lovely date. The day before, Kate was nervous, thinking she would not fit into Bruce's world. But tonight, she realized they had much more in common than she thought. Watching him work the room, she saw him as someone other than the style-challenged cowboy that walked into Gray's boutique so many days ago. Tonight, she saw the accounting executive that was savvy businessman who could think quickly on his toes. He was witty and charming, and Kate was mesmerized by his ability to work a room full of people. "Ah, Bruce. Good to see you tonight. And what did you have to do to bribe this lovely lady to keep your company this evening?" Bruce gave the man a hearty pat on the back. "Carl, good to see you as well. This is my friend Kate. She is a fashion stylist. The best in the city. A graduate of the Milner Fashion Institute, she was the top in her class and works with some high-profile names in the industry." "Wonderful to meet you, Carl." "Likewise, Kate. What an impressive career. Were you the one responsible for the expertly tailored suit we saw Bruce wearing at the last function?" "Yes, I was." "We were all admiring his choice. Make sure I get your information this evening. You are sure to get some more business before the night is over. You are very talented." "Thank you. I will do that, Carl." Carl and his wife held up their glasses in a toast before walking away from Kate and Bruce. "I knew you would be making some connections this evening. Everyone raved over your talent. And I did not hold back on sharing your information. There are several galas coming up this fall, and I'm sure you will get a few calls from new clients." Kate was not sure what to say. Bruce seemed to be everything she was looking for in a man. He was intelligent, made his own way, and was supportive of her career as well. "I don't know what to say. Let's toast to a good night and take it from there. To a wonderful night, with wonderful company. Cheers." "I'll drink to that." Kate and Bruce toasted, glasses clinking. "I hope you know I have more planned for you this evening, Kate." "I planned on it." She was sure it was the start to a beautiful evening. Chapter 4. The gala went on all night, but Kate and Bruce decided it was best to leave after a few hours of socializing. "I have an idea. Are you hungry?" Bruce asked. "Actually, I am. There was no way I could fill up on the finger foods there." "Perfect. Why don't we go back to my place? I would love to cook for you." Kate shook her head and laughed. "What's so funny? You don't think I can cook?" "No. That's not it. She paused. "It's just that you seem too good to be true." "Kate, you said that like it's a bad thing." "Trust me. It's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all. Just having so much so soon from you. It's been a definite whirlwind-type romance. Like the kind you see on the soap operas." Bruce laughed a hearty laugh that came from somewhere deep. "Like the soap operas, huh? As a kid, I grew up watching those with my mother. There is love and passion, money and status. All of that is true. But those people on there also hop from bed to bed. So, you watch the soap operas? She teased. Not hardly. But I know my mother watched a lot as well. She fell in love with them for the same reasons. But this is real life, Kate. And in real life, you can have the love, the passion, and the romance as long as you know that there will be times when things don't seem so easy. Kate let the words sink in before she spoke. Do you want to know something? Shoot. The fact that love is not all fairy tales can be pretty scary. Bruce turned to her. Nothing worth having comes without risk. Agreed. It's just that love can be so unpredictable. Bruce squeezed her hand as they pulled up to his condo. That's what makes life fun. Come on. I'm hungry. He held her hand the entire time they exited the limo, in the elevator, and right up to his door. As soon as they were inside, Kate kicked off her shoes, wanting to feel more comfortable. Bruce began to come out of his tuxedo jacket. Why don't we get a bit more comfortable? Feel free to use the room across the hall to change. Kate was happy she brought a bag of extra clothing. She had learned to always be prepared with Bruce. She slipped out of her dress into a pair of comfortable jeans and a tank top. She padded across to the kitchen, taking a seat on one of the bar stools. A bottle of wine sat there, waiting to be opened. Popping the cork, she searched the kitchen cabinets for 2 glasses. When she found them, she poured a glass for herself and one for Bruce. The liquid was delightful, but her stomach was growling. I see you found the glasses and the wine. Perfect. Are you ready to eat? You really don't know how much. I'm starving. Bruce looked comfortable in the kitchen. Pulling out a pan and a few things from the pantry and the refrigerator, he started cooking. I hope you like shrimp. I have a little dish that I like to make. Whatever you make is fine by me. She swirled the wine around in her glass and continued sipping as she watched him cook risotto, chop fresh parsley, and then toss the fresh shrimp around in the heated pan. Everything smells so delicious. Bruce seasoned the food and then served them each a plate. He took a seat next to her at the counter. So I can add chef to your list of awesome qualities I see. If that's what you want to call it. I can make a few things, enough dishes to save my life and not starve to death. But it's nothing to write home about. Their playful banter over dinner was in a steady groove. Bruce suggested that they take their wine over to the living room. She sat and watched as he lit a fire, which quickly came to a crackling roar. Why don't you come and sit with me over here? He beckoned. Kate joined him on the plush rug in front of the hearth. This is actually quite cozy. She took a seat next to him. I had a good time this evening, Bruce. Thank you for inviting me. I see you had fun as well as a productive evening. Passing out business cards and networking. You made me proud. She regarded him, sitting there with her. The moment was special and comfortable. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really work hard at what I do and I love what I do. Bruce sipped his wine. There is something to be said for living life like that. He poured them both another glass of wine. If I did not know any better, I would think that you were trying to get me a little tipsy. He shook his head. Not at all. Nothing wrong with wine to have a good time. Once again, I agree. When they sipped, they held each other's gaze. Tell me how the kiss made you feel. Kate was not sure if it was all of the wine or the thought of the kiss that made her feel warm and tingly. As with what I have come to learn from you, it was unexpected, but I loved it. She could feel herself blushing again. In case you haven't noticed, I like you, Kate. A lot. And I'm not sure where we are going with this, but I'm okay with that. I like you too. And for once, I'm okay with not having every second of what I'm doing mapped out. That realization surprised her. It felt good for once to throw caution to the wind and just go with the flow. Bruce's lips touched hers. And in that moment, Kate did not have to question what was next. The silence between them was peaceful. Just laying there listening to each other's breathing, all seemed right with the world. Kate was awakened by the scent of freshly brewed coffee and breakfast. She suddenly jumped up out of the bed when she realized where she was. Whoa, leaving so soon? Bruce was coming into the room carrying a tray when Kate leaped out of the bed, scrambling around holding the sheet wrapped around her body. I am so late for work. Relax. It's only 7 in the morning. Kate stopped, breathing a sigh of relief. Oh, thank goodness. Maybe we went a little overboard on the wine last night. She laughed. I'm pretty sure it was a combination of the champagne and the drinks at the gala, polished off by the wine. Duly noted. He sat the breakfast tray on the bed. I thought a little breakfast in bed is in order. Something to get our strength up after, well. He raised his coffee mug in a mock toast and then sipped the java. This looks wonderful. Thank you. There was fresh fruit, croissants, sausage, and scrambled eggs. Just a little more of my culinary skills. Don't get too used to that. The cooking or the spending the night? She asked. Cheeky, I see. Kate was still waiting for an answer. Well? He kissed her on the cheek. I want you to get used to a lot of things. She smiled, ready to pull the conversation out of him. Tell me more. Kate sipped on her coffee while she waited for him to tell her what he wanted. Woman, you are going to drive me crazy already. She raised an eyebrow and stayed quiet until he answered. Putting his fork down, he began to speak. Since the day I walked into the boutique, I have been interested in you. Since the day we went out to dinner, I have desired you. Every time I am near you, I want you more and more. And now that we have been intimate, I'm not sure I can let you go. Kate could not believe the words she heard. He wanted her. He longed for her. He clasped his hands together. There. Now you have it. I've confessed. What now? I don't know, she shrugged. I had not thought that far. Really? You didn't think that far ahead. The one woman who plans out everything had no visions on what she would like to become of what is happening between us. Those blue eyes were staring straight through her again, making it hard to focus on anything else. I just did not want to make this into something it was not. Like you know, if you were not looking to be serious, then no need for me to put too much into it. As you see, I'm trying to take a page out of your book and take things as they come and not overanalyze things. We could all be so lucky as to find a perfect balance. It's something I work at. Kate set the tray aside and snuggled back under the covers. The boutique opened at 11, so she had an hour or so that she could stay. Laying there on his chest, Kate felt like she was right at home. She lightly ran her hands back and forth across his pecs. One day at a time sounds good to me. You know, for an us. Bruce stroked her hair, gently massaging her temples. She sighed. I could do this forever. I think I'm going to hold you to that, woman. They lay there for another 30 minutes, then finished breakfast, and Kate got dressed. I really have to be going. The boutique awaits. Bruce agreed. I just have one thing to ask you. What is that? Kate slipped on her shirt and shoes. I would love for you to come out with me again as my date for dinner. Tomorrow, perhaps? Of course. The intercom buzzed. That must be your driver. Hold on. He ran over and checked and affirmed that it was the driver, ready to take her home. Until tomorrow, Kate. His kiss was tender and soft. Kate backed away smiling. The ride back to her home was quiet. Kate had a lot of time to think. Her mind was relaxed, her body was sore. She was not sure how things had developed between her and Bruce so quickly. Just thinking about the night they had spent together left her feeling hot and tingly all over in the places where his fingertips had been. There was not a place on her body where Bruce had not explored. She did not want to share their little secret with anyone else right now. It was enough to bask in the glory of the night they shared. Bruce had treated her like a princess. Sending cars for her, flowers, gifts, trinkets. It was all so much for her at one time. But it was the kind of thing she felt was better if they dove in head first. If she stopped and thought about it, she would find reasons to slow down or create unnecessary obstacles when there were none. She resigned to let it be what it was. She was having a good time with a man that enjoyed her company and she enjoyed his. Kate made it home just in time to shower and change for work. Right now, she needed to focus on her business and nothing else, but Bruce kept running through her head and she wanted to call him and hear his voice. But was it too soon? She had just left his house. Her phone chimed as soon as she hopped out of the shower. It was Bruce. I hope you know that I loved my time with you. Can't wait until tonight. His words made her smile. She texted back her reply. Until tonight. She was ready to see him as well. Kate applied her lipstick and stopped at the coffee shop for a cup of Java and a Danish before heading off to work. Fortunately, she was the first one to get to the boutique. She needed the peace and quiet, not Linda teasing her about her new love. New love. The thought made her smile. Bruce had been so sweet. So attentive. He seemed to want to make sure she was happy and he genuinely liked spending time with her. He was everything she wanted in a man. Although he had come wrapped in an unconventional package, but she could not deny that he was the perfect match for her. The fact was, she did not need all of the gifts from him. The attention and the affection was more than enough. Bruce seemed to be a good man. They had a good time together and seemed to be a good match, and she wanted to see where it would go. Chapter 5. Kate did the best she could not to daydream all afternoon. Thinking of Bruce and the night they spent together got in the way of her productivity. Linda was not due in until noon, and she was fortunate enough to have Kim there working first thing in the morning. She would need someone to work the morning shift. She told Kim that she would spend the morning in the office, going over paperwork. It was the only way she would be able to keep her mind off of Bruce and on her work. By the time she went through the business spreadsheets, Kate decided she would work from home. She did not have any personal clients that morning to style, and she could spend the rest of the morning going over the books. She glanced at her phone, and just as she considered dialing Bruce's number, his name came across the screen. "Hello, I must have thought you up." "What does that mean?" he asked with a chuckle. "I was thinking of you this morning. I could not get last night out of my mind." "Me either." In their silence, she could hear that he was in the car. "I have a few errands to run this morning, but I am open after that." "What about you?" "I decided to work from home today. I could definitely make time for lunch. So I will have the pleasure of spending lunch and dinner with you today?" Bruce teased. "Will do." Once again, her heart was all aflutter. The mere sound of Bruce's voice was able to do that to her. She shook her head. Kate had never really been in love, and she wondered if this was what it felt like to truly be in love. But it was nothing she wanted to rush. Her mother always told her that good things took time. So if this thing with Bruce was going to turn into something, Kate would have to do whatever she could to not completely fall head over heels too quickly, though it was her first impulse to dive right in. Fortunately, she was able to finish her work over the next 2 hours. She called into the boutique and found that everything was in working order, so Kate let Linda and Kim know that she was available by cell phone all day if they needed her. Just as he promised, Bruce called at noon. "Come outside." She had no clue where they were going or what they would be doing for that afternoon. And she was okay with that. Dressed in a pink button-down shirt, white jeans, a pair of canvas sneakers, and a denim blue jacket, she was ready for lunch. Bruce stepped out of the car and walked around to the passenger side. A look of approval on his face. "You look amazing." He kissed her on the cheek. "Thank you," she replied. "And you look pretty great yourself." She admired the way that he was casually dressed. Wearing a pair of gray slacks, driving loafers, and a lightweight navy blue sweater, he looked handsome. He was still clean-shaven, and he smelled woodsy. It was the same scent that lasted on her after staying at his home the night before. She loved the fact that he was so masculine. He gave her this hedge of protection and a feeling of security, and it turned her on even more. Opening car doors, pulling out chairs, sending her gifts. He was doing all of the things that the gallant men did on the soap operas and in the romance novels. "A penny for your thoughts," he remarked. "What?" "Oh. I was just thinking how good things are so quickly. I don't know. It feels too good to be true." As they drove off, Bruce kept his eyes on the road. Nothing is too good to be true. It either is or isn't. So you just have to let it be what it is. Good perspective. That makes a lot of sense. I'm glad you think so. If you say it's too good to be true, it implies that you aren't deserving of having good things. That there is no truth in having and deserving good things. He turned up the music a bit, quieting the conversation. Kate could tell he was in deep thought about something. If he wanted to share, he would. Within a few minutes, they pulled up at a small restaurant she had passed by many times. It was a tiny little house called Mingo Gardens. Oh my goodness. I heard so many good things about the food here. Great. I'm glad you've heard of it. Come with me. He held her hand as they walked in. Hello, welcome to Mingo Gardens. The hostess was tiny and bubbly, full of energy. Yes, we have a reservation. 2 for Bruce. The hostess scanned the sheet. Ah, yes. I see your name here. Right this way. They followed the woman to a room toward the back. It was mid-afternoon, and the restaurant was full. They continued further back until they were on a balcony. They were overlooking the city, and the sight of people walking to and fro was exhilarating as they sat on the balcony. The hostess left them with menus and fresh water with lemon. Kate glanced at the menu, trying to figure out what she would eat. What are you having? She asked Bruce, hoping that his selection would give her an idea. I like the grilled halibut and the penne pasta with an arugula salad. Okay, I think I'll get the antipasto and a side of artichoke dip. They placed their orders and sat back with their drinks. Is this another one of the places that you like to go? Bruce nodded. Yes, but I have never eaten on the private balcony. Nice. I feel special. Bruce leaned in a bit more. I hope that you don't just feel special because of the gifts. Not at all. I mean, those are nice, but you have this way of making me feel like I'm the only girl in the world. At least the only girl in the world that matters to you. He took her by the hand. What if that was true? If what was true? What if you are the only girl in the world that matters to me? The impact of his words hit hard. How is that possible so early on? Bruce took a sip of his water, waiting to respond until the waitress finished serving their food. Kate, if there is one thing I have learned in love and business, it is that you have to strike when the iron is hot. There are precise moments in life when things happen, and when you don't go for what you want during that window, you can completely lose the momentum or the opportunity at all. Have there ever been times when you lost the opportunity to have something you wanted? Bruce looked up into the sky, as if trying to gain perspective. Yes. I have. And it is not easy. But you live and you learn. And then you live again to move forward and not make the same mistake again. Tell me more. That is, if you are comfortable. Before speaking, Bruce finished his food. I don't think the history is all that important. I think what is important is where I am right now. Where I would like to be right now in life. And where is that? Kate, I'm a simple man. I like my liquor, a little gambling, and I love nature. When I fall for a woman, I fall hard. And I put everything into it. I'm not the type of man that does anything halfway. I believe in making my woman first, and that if she is my woman, that she is exclusively with me, by my side. So if you and I are to go into this relationship, then I have to let you know that ahead of time. So you know what to expect. Kate listened intently. Was he telling her that he wanted her to be with him? Are you asking what I think you're asking? Kate just wanted to make sure that she was not jumping to any conclusions. Kate, I think you know what I'm asking. Talk about whirlwind romance. She sipped her wine and thought about what he was asking. Bruce, we've only known each other for a few weeks. I admit, things progressed rather quickly, but I was not expecting this. I'm not the kind of man that sleeps around. When I find a woman that I want, I'm with her. He stared at her intently as he sipped the rest of his rum, waiting for her response. Her mind twirled, thinking of what the right thing was. To go all out for a man she just recently met, or to pump the brakes and be cautionary and take her time growing and cultivating a relationship. As if he could read her mind, Bruce squeezed her hand. What is the first thing that comes to mind? Well, no, Bruce said with certainty. Your first impulse. Quickly. Kate, tell me what's on your mind. She felt panicked, her heart racing. I want to be with you. Kate blurted out. Bruce leaned back smiling. How did that feel? Kate gulped the rest of her wine down, feeling the liquid warm her from the inside. She could barely breathe. That was a rush. You should feel good about your decision. Now, do you stand by your choice? I do. Very well. Let's enjoy lunch. By the time Bruce and Kate finished lunch, she wanted to spend more time with him. She checked in with the boutique and was assured everything was all right. What if I told you that I was not ready to end our afternoon? Bruce stood up, put on his wide-brimmed hat, and walked over to pull out her chair. I would ask you if you had anything pending at work. No, I don't. Well, then I would say I would love to spend more time with you this afternoon. What do you suggest? Kate hoisted her purse over her shoulder. I would like to show you a little bit of my world. I would love that. Lead the way. The first stop was the neighborhood where she grew up. She showed him the playground where she and her best friends used to play. She showed him her elementary school and high school and the recreation center where she went several days a week. She also showed him the hangout spot where her and her friends spent a lot of their time eating ice cream and talking about boys. This is nice to get to know so much about you. Kate smiled. Thanks. It's nice to share. You already know where I work, and you know where I live. Speaking of home, maybe we should swing by so that I can change for dinner tonight. Perfect idea. They were silent as he navigated the city streets. What are you thinking about? Well, I was thinking of how much things have changed for me. To go from living in this neighborhood, which I thought was the biggest thing in the world, to figuring out how large the world really is. To know that there is so much more out there that I can have in life, it just makes me so appreciative. As well it should. I completely understand where you are coming from with that. The world is pretty big and there is a lot out there that you should go and get. It was nice to know that the two of them had the same frame of mind. Come on inside. Ever the gentleman, he walked around to her passenger side door, opened it for her, and let her out. He followed her to the front door and then into the house. As Bruce entered, he took off his hat and looked around. It's not what I thought it would be. You know. For the kind of place where a stylist lives. Kate sat her keys down. Really? Don't get me wrong. It's lovely. Very homey. But I somehow thought that there would be a lot of contemporary styles. Instead, it looks like someone could live here and not like artwork. I'll take that as a compliment. A look of distress showed on Bruce's face. Kate laughed, trying to calm the situation. Seriously, it's okay. I get what you were saying. I'm very into fashion, but I feel like home should be, well, home should feel lived in and peaceful. That's why I decorate with blues and soft colors. It should feel like you can come in and relax. And well, maybe remind you of what it's like to go home and find comfort with your parents or in your childhood home. My kind of girl. It's the way I like things. Comfortable. Easy. Lived in. The kind of place you like to come home to every day. She stared at him, taking in the entire man. He was more than just the fashionably challenged man with the deep blue eyes. He was so much more than that. Bruce was this complex individual that was kind and calm. She loved the fact that he was self-assured and confident. He seemed to have everything in line and never feel out of sorts about anything at all. The exact opposite of where she was in her life. It was refreshing to know that at some point in time she could be like that and possibly in that same place. I'm going to change. Are we going somewhere casual or somewhere semi-formal? Bruce clasped his hands together. I have an idea. Kate shook her head. As usual. No. No. This one I think you will like. Dress casual and comfortable. Very comfortable. No heels or dressy girly stuff. Kate turned on her heels and headed to the bedroom. Duly noted. No heels and no dressy girly stuff. She quickly changed into a pair of dark blue jeans and casual purple top with a pair of ballet flats. She stuffed a pair of sneakers into her oversized purse and for good measure, threw some hygiene products in as well. Life with Bruce was pretty unpredictable and she never knew where the two of them would end up. Kate walked out into the living room to find Bruce browsing around, looking at the pictures of her and her family. There were pictures from her childhood, from graduation, and random shots of her parents through the years. The one she was most proud of was of her standing in front of her boutique for the ribbon cutting. I'm ready. The soft look on Bruce's face was endearing. It looks like you are pretty close with your family. The thought of her parents and her happy childhood made her happy. I am. We're pretty normal. We disagree and make up just like any other family. I wouldn't have it any other way. Are they from Los Angeles as well? My mom is. My dad was born in Texas and moved here when he was in high school. The two of them were high school sweethearts and have been together ever since. What? You don't believe in that? Actually, I have always wondered about a person's ability to meet one person and stay together indefinitely for so long. Wait, the person that says to take a chance and take a risk and go for love does not believe that people can meet that one person and click and that be it for life? She was intrigued by his thought process and wanted to know why he felt the way that he did. It's not that, Kate. I just wonder if you could meet someone when you are nothing more than a child and make a decision about your adult life. She shrugged. It works for some people. I mean, how about your parents? They were from a different time. A time when you did not necessarily marry for love first. The two of them lived near each other growing up, knew each other, but never really had much contact. My dad went away to war, and when he came back, he and my mom got together. They crossed paths and at that time figured out that they wanted to be together. They had time to decide what they wanted. And they chose to be together based on that. And I think that worked for them. It makes perfect sense. I get it. Bruce turned her around to face him. As far as you and I are concerned, we are both where we choose to be. And that is what works for me. His kisses were always right on time. And that kiss works for me. We had better get going before we end up staying here all night and miss dinner. Good idea, he replied with a smirk. She locked the door behind them and he escorted her to the car. They traveled outside of the city, toward the mountains. She laid her head back, listening to the smooth jazz music that was playing in the car. It was nice to relax and feel the vibe and the positive energy. From time to time, glancing over at him filled Kate with a giddy happiness. Spending the day with you has been fun. Bruce looked at her from the corner of his eye. I have had a good time too. She resisted the urge to ask him where they were going. It would be more fun if she just went for the ride. He turned off of the highway onto a dark road. The exit off of the highway was so far out it seemed like it was the last exit to nowhere. I'm amazed that you aren't going to ask me where we are going, Bruce commented. Well, I figured that I've been safe thus far with everywhere we've gone. So I think this time will be no different. He gently patted her on the knee. I think you will like this. They eventually ended up on a dirt road. The gravel crunching under the tires of his truck and the high beams on, they made their way down the road until they reached a large iron gate. Bruce rolled down the window and punched in a few numbers at the gate code. The gate opened slowly, gaining them access. Bruce drove up the driveway that led to a huge house. The home was well lit with a crescent-shaped driveway. This is my parents' home. The home that I pretty much grew up in. Seriously? She asked. Wow. It's not too much too fast, is it? Kate reached over and kissed him on the cheek. Are you kidding? Today seems to be a good day to share. Great. My mother always has dessert out by now. She makes the best fruit cobbler around. They held hands as they walked to the door. Bruce, good to see you, son. A tiny lady with the same steel blue eyes answered the door. Mom. He hugged the woman and kissed her on the cheek. And I see that you've brought a guest this evening. Hello, dear, I'm Bruce's mother. You can call me Hillary. Hi, Hillary, Kate extended her hand. I'm Kate. She's very cute, Bruce. What on earth is she doing out with you? Mother, he replied, sounding slightly irritated. Oh, never mind. You two come on in. I just finished taking the peach cobbler out of the oven. There is ice cream and some fresh brewed tea. Your father and I were about to have some dessert. But I suspect you know that. She winked as she stood back and let them in. Hey, Pop. Bruce, old boy. Glad you made it by. They pat each other on the arm and then hugged. The older man peeked over his shoulder and looked in Kate's direction. Well now, we are always up for a bit of company. Hello there, sweetheart. I'm Cal. Welcome. It's not often that Bruce brings someone here to meet us, Cal replied. Kate glanced at Bruce, trying to follow his lead. He shrugged. Cal, stop embarrassing both of them. Bruce is not some high school boy bringing home a date for the prom. Aw, well. Where's that pie you made, Hill? Coming right up, dear. Kate, you make yourself at home. Thank you, Hillary. I'm looking forward to this cobbler. I've heard you make an amazing dessert. In a flash, Hillary was back out with a tray filled with dessert and hot tea. Here we are. A little dessert here for everyone. Their eyes were large, stomachs even larger, waiting for the dessert. Hillary served them each a plate and she poured the tea. Thank you, Hillary. This is delicious, Kate commented. Do you cook, dear? I do. From time to time. I have not a lot lately. The first part of the evening was asking and answering all of the preliminary questions. Where are you from? What do your parents do? Do you have any siblings? What do you do for a living? Is styling a real job? Kate answered every question with class and poise. Cal and Hillary were rapid fire, but Bruce sat back for a moment and let them ask as many questions as they desired. The first round of pie was almost finished just as they ended their inquisition. I assume you and Dad have asked Kate all the questions that you could possibly ask a guest in one night? Bruce asked, eyebrow raised. Cal raised his hands in surrender. Hey. We get the point. Just a little friendly conversation here. Kate, it was lovely to meet you, Hillary said kindly with a smile. I think Cal and I will retire for the night. Hillary took her husband by the hand. He was a bit apprehensive, but followed his wife's lead. Mom, leave everything here. Kate and I will clean up. Thank you, dear. We'll see you later this weekend for dinner. Hillary gave a sly grin and slowly walked off, holding her husband by the hand. Your parents are wonderful. Really? So you're going to stay and hang out? I thought for sure you would feel run off by the Spanish Inquisition. They both laughed. I'm not so easily run off. They are sweet, and I know they mean well. It was probably exciting to have their son finally bring someone home for once. Bruce became quiet at what was supposed to be a joke. I'm sorry. I hope I didn't say anything wrong. He shook his head. No. You didn't. But you are right about one thing. I have not brought a woman home in, well, I can't remember how long. As they walked the dishes to the kitchen, she asked him something else. Who was the last person that you brought for your parents to meet? The dishes clinked in the sink. The sound of running water. Then Bruce responded. I was in my early 20s. I fell for this woman that totally blew my mind and sent me for a loop. She was everything I never thought I would look for in a woman. But I was too involved in building a career, so I let it all go. Let it all slip right through my fingertips. She moved on. And by the time I figured it all out, it was too late. Kate just listened, taken aback by Bruce's confession. That's intense. Now your philosophies on life and love make perfect sense. I hope that they make sense to you because sometimes I don't get love and feelings and relationships as much as it may seem. In that moment, Bruce seemed so vulnerable. He dried his hands on a towel and sat there rubbing his temples, jaw clenched as his mind churned on a memory. Love is not so easy. It has been difficult for me as well. I watched my parents in this great love affair, and as a child, I loved the soap operas. So now I struggle to find something or someone that measures up to what I thought I saw growing up. Now I understand that what I have to know is that love is different for everyone. And that what may be for me may be completely different than what my parents have, and that is okay. Bruce's fingertips on the side of her face were comforting. Her body tingled at his touch. His kiss was exactly what she wanted right then, and there was nothing else that she was focused on. Living in the moment was all that was necessary. Chapter 6. When they returned home to Kate's house, Bruce shifted the car in park and sat idle in the driveway. "I want you to come in for a minute." Bruce turned off the ignition and followed her to the front door. As soon as she opened the door, she wrapped her arms around Bruce's neck and the kiss was all-consuming. He pushed the door closed, careful not to let go of her body. The sensation was so sweet, Kate relaxed, right there in his arms, and fell fast asleep. Blinking her eyes, she tried to figure out where she was. Kate remembered she was at home in bed. She felt around on the sheets to see if her beau was next to her. He was there, wrapped in the blankets, right by her side. "You're awake." Kate stretched, purring like a kitten. "I am." "What time is it?" "A little after midnight." Kate shifted a bit and wrapped her arms around Bruce as she lay on his chest. Listening to his breathing, she felt calm and satisfied, as if she could stay in the space forever. "If you don't have to go, can you just stay a little while longer? I know we've been together all day, but just a little while longer is good." Bruce gently stroked her hair and with a sigh held her tightly close to his chest. "I can stay a while longer. As long as you'd like." "Good." When she opened her eyes, he was there gazing at her with passion and desire. "What?" she asked playfully. "Nothing. You're so beautiful. I'm just trying to figure out how I got to be the luckiest man on earth." "Pure luck. That's all. Pure luck." "Well, and the addition of being fashion challenged." He chuckled. "I have to tell you that I love how you styled me for the gala. It was a different experience for me. I've never really let anyone be in control of me like that." She leaned up on one arm. "In control? Is that how you saw it?" "No. Not like that. I just meant that I never let anyone that close to me to make decisions for me. It was not easy to hand over the reins to someone else." She patted him gently on the chest. "Trust me. It should have been easy. Your fashion sense left a lot to be desired." "Wow, why don't you just admit to taking pity on me?" "I did not take pity on you," she laughed. "I love a challenge." "So you see me as a challenge?" She tucked her hair behind her ear. "I do. As a matter of fact, I've never met anyone like you. You take life by the reins and just go for it. I like that. I could use a lot more of that in my life." "A lot more spontaneity?" "I can give you that." I just don't want you losing focus on your career. Not at all. I would never lose sight of all that I worked so hard for. There is no way I would let anything get in the way like that. I'm just going to find the balance between relationships and career. Relationships? You know. Not just being with you. I also mean spending time with friends. Doing more leisurely activities and things for myself. Very smart of you. It is necessary to have that balance. And how do you see me fitting into the grand scheme of things in your life? Actually, I'm not sure yet. I'm willing to take things day by day. But what I am sure about is that I want you in my life. Bruce was silent for a moment before he spoke again. I have something I want to tell you. Kate pulled the sheet up tighter around her chest. Okay, she replied nervously. She was not sure what he would need to confess at this time of morning. Her mind started to race. Was he married? Was he a serial killer? Maybe he was going to say that he was not ready for any type of serious relationship. She agonized over what he could possibly have to tell her. It's nothing detrimental. You should see the look on your face right now. That does not really calm me. I won't be calm until I know what it is that you are going to tell me. She spoke, practically on edge. How could things be going so well and then potentially be ready to crash so suddenly? You know, I told you that I had a career as an accountant? Kate nodded and listened. Well, I still work as an accountant from time to time. Hence the galas and the black tie events. That makes sense. I figured out that much. Well, what I didn't tell you is that I've made a lot of money consulting. After I stopped working accounting full-time being employed by someone else, I began working for myself, consulting with individuals and firms. I did it full-time for a while, but then backed off to part-time. So I enjoy a pretty lucrative career as an accountant. I like it. But you say all of this like it is a problem. That's not all. Oh. Okay. So far, Kate had not heard anything disturbing. He was hardworking and loved what he did. I may as well come on out and say it. I'm rich. A millionaire to be exact. The words were not properly processing. What? I don't want that to change things between us. Wait, Kate exclaimed, sitting up. What are you talking about? I am rich. I made a lot of money doing my consulting, and still do. But my parents already were rich. The ranch made them a lot of money over the years. Selling land, cattle, goods. But you said that you helped your parents with the ranch because it was in trouble. It was in trouble, but as their accountant, I helped them to get their numbers in order, and that was no longer an issue. They came back stronger than ever and things were fine. Better than ever. So I continue to oversee the books, and of course, I also see to their health as they age. Kate sat up completely in bed, trying to process everything. I mean, it's not like I thought you lived this meager existence or anything, but millionaire. I don't know how that got completely past me. It's not like I'm walking around here flashing my wealth. I live nicely. Comfortable. But by no means am I out there spending uncontrollably on cars, women, and clothes. Like I told you. I'm a simple man. I get that. I really do. She was still quiet while she tried to take it all in. Bruce took her hand. How would something like this change anything between us? I'm still the same man. She massaged her temples, closed her eyes, and tried to figure out what else to say. Of course you are. But it does make things a bit different. How? You weren't interested in me because of my money. You didn't even know I had the amount that I have. How does it change things? I mean, we're definitely not on the same playing field. Bruce ran his fingertips along her chin. We never really were. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Trust me, I understand what you mean and I don't take it negatively. It's just that millionaire status is a lot to live up to. Why would you have to live up to anything other than what you are already doing in your life? Well, here I am. I'm just starting out in life. Just trying to get my career in line, and you have already been where I would like to be. It makes it a bit intimidating. And I'm not sure why. He held her hand tightly. Please know that my money had nothing to do with anything when we met, when we agreed to start dating, and it should not have anything to do with us now. I know where you are in your life. I know where you want to go. That kind of drive and ambition is sexy. I identify with it. I know it well. But I'm at a point in my life where I would like to find the calm, the peace in being with a person that loves me for me. If I wanted to, I could find any type of arm candy, parade her around, and come home to absolutely nothing. I could do that if that fit me. But I'm not about that lifestyle. I have always wanted substance. Wanted stability, and wanted a woman that is grounded. That is you. Whether you know it or not. That is you. You are the woman that can look me in the eye and tell me that my cowboy hat is completely out of place and that I need to change my jeans because the restaurant where we are going to eat won't accept casual dress. You are the woman that will encourage me to do more consulting because I see your drive and it ignites my own. He held her gaze intently. How is it that we feel so much for each other so quickly? I don't understand. It's dizzying actually to know that we clicked so fast and that we are all in so soon. Kate, what I've found out about life is that you are given what you need and what you want sometimes before you ask for it. You may not always be ready for it when it comes, but when it does, you can't let it slip away. I'm not willing to let you slip away. He kissed her hand gently. Then the kisses trailed from her palm, to her arm, to her shoulder, to the nape of her neck. They both smiled. I could get used to this, Bruce admitted. I bet you could, she teased. I want to get used to this, Bruce replied. Me too, Kate replied as she burrowed into the sheets closer to Bruce. He laid back so she could rest her head on his chest. Are you saying that you are okay with dating a man that has $1 gazillion? Maybe not $1 gazillion, but I would be okay if he had a couple million in the bank. Bruce kissed her forehead. Kate, I promise you this will not be an obstacle for us. I know it won't. Chapter 7. After Bruce and Kate kissed their goodbyes, Kate closed the door behind him. She could not believe she had practically spent the last 24 hours with the man. Thinking about last night suddenly made her feel nervous. Bruce was everything she wanted, everything she needed in a man. But what she was not sure of was whether or not she needed a man. If one had asked her even a month ago if she would be considering seriously dating someone, she would have laughed in their face. She was all about her career. There was so much she wanted out of life, and she was not sure that being involved with someone was where she needed to focus her time. It was bad enough she had gone to work the day before and was unable to concentrate on any of her tasks. She was unable to even stay at work and left to not only have lunch with Bruce, but spend the evening with him as well. It was as if they could not get enough of each other. They were practically absorbing one another's energy. It was not enough to call or text, they had to be in each other's presence, and that had already taken up one day of her life. A panic spread over Kate. What was she thinking? Meeting the man's parents? Going to a gala ball as his date? Spending the night at his house and him spending the night at hers? She had barely known the man a month. It was the true definition of a whirlwind, and she was now feeling like she was in the eye of the tornado, being swept up into something that she could not necessarily get out of. She showered, all the while her mind turning the situation over and over. The fact that he was a millionaire did not scare her. She was not attracted to him for the money. Kate had never really been the type to be enamored with material things. When he confessed, it had not made her care for him any less. She did not feel one way or another about his money. It did in fact make her wonder why he wanted to be with her. She was effectively in transition in her life. Why would a man that was established want to be with her so badly? They had so much in common, yet appeared to be such an odd couple. Wanting to be with him was now a craving, an urge that made her body call for him. It was like craving sugar. Once you ate the cookie, it made you feel good, you got a rush, but you also came crashing down afterward. The crash was what she was afraid of. Being with Bruce was exhilarating. He made her feel like a princess, and it was just exactly what she wanted a man to do for her. Taking her on excursions and diner dates, and even the appearance at the gala was like a dream. Sending for her with limo rides and impromptu dinner dates, it was all an attempt to show her that he cared and wanted to spend time with her, but she was not sure that it was not too much. As she got dressed, she saw her phone light blinking. It was a message for her from Bruce telling her that he missed her and that he wanted to see her again. She smiled at the thought, but suddenly felt suffocated. He wanted too much too soon. She was not sure that she could give what he was asking for. She simply sent him a smiling face and said that she was looking forward to seeing him again as well. Kate tried her best to get Bruce out of her mind. She had to focus because today was the day she had to meet with a potentially lucrative client. She wanted to make sure she was on top of her game and that she would give the best presentation possible. Thinking of Bruce was taking over her mind. And now, she was starting to question her decision to let Bruce get so close so quickly. She would have to think about it later. Today, she had to focus on work and her career. She could not give her energy to anything else right now. When her client walked in, Kate considered herself to be on stage. She wowed her client with her expertise and her sense of fashion. After talking and getting to know one another for the consultation, the potential client signed on and became a paying client. Linda, Kim, and Kate celebrated with a glass of champagne and some Belgian chocolates, their normal celebratory ritual. Signing a new client was invigorating. She loved the fact that she worked hard and it paid off. She wanted to feel that exhilaration more and more. It was like a high that she did not want to come down from. Kate's day was packed with meetings as well. She had calls back to back, and it felt like she had to make up for taking a day to work from home the day before. She barely had time to pay attention to the vase of flowers Kim brought into her office. The red roses in a clear vase sat on the counter in her office until she got a break in between her third and fourth phone call. She took a breather, ate a small snack, and chugged down some mineral water. "Who are the flowers from?" Kate looked up to see Linda peeking in the office. "I did not even get a chance to look at them. I've been swamped with phone calls all afternoon, and I did not get the chance to check them out." Kate stood up and walked over to the arrangement. She found the card, opened it, and figured out that it came from her new beau. There was a strange feeling of flattery and feeling unsure. "It's from Bruce." "Ah, we are on a first-name basis now." Linda came over to smell the roses. "Well, we are kind of dating." Linda closed the door behind her. "Wait. When did this happen?" "Dating? I'm not sure. I'm just not sure about anything. Look, I have to finish one more call. Can we table this and discuss it over coffee?" "We are definitely discussing this over coffee." Kate finished her last call and signaled to Linda that she was ready to leave. They walked down the block to their local coffee shop. "Tell me everything. Please don't leave anything out." Kate began to share. "It just started out as me going by to fit him for the gala. He's this charming man who is great to talk to. He's easygoing and fun to be around. I like his spontaneity. That night, he asked me to go out to eat. I did. It turned into dinner, dancing, a date to the gala, dinner at an exclusive restaurant, sleeping together, meeting his parents. You get the picture." Linda practically slammed her coffee cup on the table, the hot liquid spilling over. "How long have you known this guy, Kate?" "That's not the point. Things like this can happen rather quickly when things are right." "Really? This is so unlike the calculated, analytic girl that I know." "I kind of like it." Kate was surprised. "What?" Linda sipped her coffee. "I like it. I like the fact that you have decided to throw caution to the wind and go for it with this man that excites you. It's like a steamy romance novel. You can't be serious. You actually think this is a good idea?" Linda grinned. "I'm always telling you that you should live a little." "Well, today, my friend, you are living." "Oh, is that what that is?" "Living?" "Yes, my dear. Living. Have some fun for once. Why do you have to overthink everything? Are you having fun?" "Yes," Kate replied. "Does he seem to be a good guy?" "Yes. I've even met his parents. Everything on the family front seems normal." "Okay," Linda replied. "Are you happy?" Kate thought about what Linda was asking. Asking someone if they were happy always seemed so subjective. There could be so many different reasons for someone's happiness. "I think that I am. When I ask that question, it means are you happy? With yourself and where you are in life. You can't depend on him to make you happy. People will disappoint you every time. But are you happy in your life, period? Kate nodded. I am happy. Life has been good thus far. So, Linda leaned across the table, almost whispering. I saved the most important question for last. She paused, just for drama. Well? Kate asked. Is the sex good? That is the most important question? Really, Linda? Linda sat back in the chair, clasping her hands together. Of course it is. If the two of you are not sexually compatible, things won't work out. Kate inhaled deeply. The thought of her and Bruce in bed together threatened to make her lose control and dial his number to ask for more. It is explosive. Yes, Linda exclaimed, clapping her hands together loudly. Other people in the cafe turned to look their way. Linda rolled her eyes. That is what is most important. The sex. If the two of you don't have that sexual physical attraction, nothing else matters. You may as well be hanging out with your brother. Interesting train of thought, but I am definitely not hanging out with my brother. So he meets all of the requirements on the checklist. What is the problem? He's a millionaire. Linda choked on her coffee. She had to take a napkin to start cleaning up the mess. A millionaire? The man that walked into the boutique with the cowboy hat, jeans, and cowboy boots? Kate nodded. So I'm still not seeing what the problem is. Spill it. I just don't want him to think I want him for the money. I actually felt a bit awkward after he told me that he has money. Kate, the man has more than money. He's rich. What would you do if you were in this situation? Linda laughed. What, you mean the situation where I have the attention of a rich man that is a great companion, sexually compatible, and a wonderful man? Is that the situation that you are speaking of? You make it sound like it is so easy to come to a conclusion, Linda. It is easy. Say yes. I did, but I want to mean it. So you said yes, but you didn't mean it? You, my dear Kate, are driving me crazy. Does Bruce have a friend? I could use some of what you're getting if you don't want it. Linda shrugged. Do what you want to. But I think you would be insane to walk away from him. Maybe he came along at a time when you least expected it, but he's here. It's all up to you to decide what to do with your situation. When she said the word situation, she used her fingers to make air quotes. Are you ready to get back to the boutique, or are you going to take another day off to work from home like yesterday? Kate knew that Linda was just teasing, but she did not want to keep talking about the situation. Her phone chimed as they got ready to walk out. I'm coming back to the boutique. I have a few follow-up calls to make and then we can close up on time. Kate did not answer the text until she was back in her office alone. It was Bruce telling her that he would give her all of the time she needed to make a decision about being with him. I understand that things are strained between us, but I want you to know that I will give you the time you need to decide whether you want to be with me. I want to be with you. Please know that. I am here when you are ready to talk. She felt bad that she had not responded all day to the texts or the flower delivery. All she wanted was to be able to concentrate at work. Today had been an important day at work for her and Linda and the boutique. She finally decided to respond to him. Can we talk later? It did not take long for him to respond. Yes. Just name the time and place. She thought about it. Can you meet me at the park on Lawton and French Street at 7 o'clock? When he replied yes, she knew she would be able to work it out with him from there. She wrapped up with work and they closed the boutique to one of the most successful days they had yet in the past year. Excitement coursed through her veins. It was a victory she shared with her friends and looked forward to having more of. And as much as she hated to admit it, she wanted to share it with Bruce as well. She knew that he would be genuinely happy for her and he would appreciate all of the hard work that went into her success. She made her way to the park. It was almost dusk and she knew that Bruce should be on the way soon. Glancing at the watch, it was almost 7. Are you looking for me? Hi. The sight of him softened her heart. I was. He approached the bench where she sat and lingered until she reached her hand out and offered him the seat next to her. Thank you, he replied as he took a seat. Okay, here goes. Kate thought it would be best to go ahead and dive right in. She waited until she knew she had his undivided attention. So here's the deal. I have to say that even though we have not been apart long, I missed you. I thought of you the entire day. But I was struggling with it because I felt a little suffocated. He waited quietly for her to continue speaking. When you left this morning, all of a sudden, I started to have a panic attack. I wondered what I had gotten myself into. I spent the entire day with you even when I knew I had work to do. So then I start to think that maybe I need to pump the brakes and slow down. I have expressed that I don't want anything or anyone to get in the way of my career. And I started to wonder if these feelings I am developing for you would start to get me off focus. That is part of the reason I did not call you back today. I had a huge client that I needed to focus on. I landed the client and all worked out well, but I had to think long and hard about us. And I realized that I do want you. I want to be with you, Bruce. He sat there silently, and when she finished speaking, he commented calmly. What am I supposed to say to that? Kate was confused. I just told you that I wanted to be with you. What do you mean, what are you supposed to say? Kate, my love. I don't think you know what you want. I promise to treat you well, be the man that you need, and I have showered you with attention, gifts, and I have opened myself up to you. And still, that was not enough. Instead of feeling okay about all of it, you felt smothered. That was not my intention, and that is certainly not what I wanted you to feel in response to my affections. She started to feel choked up. Tears were threatening to fall, but she did not want him to see her cry. I am so happy for you that you landed your client. I know your career comes first. I am okay with that, and I don't want to get in the way of what you really want right now. With that said, I will back away. You are right that this all got too intense too fast. I'm ready to handle my feelings. Call me when you are. Kate sat there on the bench for a moment, listening to the children play in the park playground. She could not wrap her mind around what had just happened. Had Bruce really just walked away? She dialed her phone. Linda, can you meet me at the park? I need to talk. Linda made it over to the park within 15 minutes. You sound like hell. What happened? Kate wiped a tear away. I don't know what happened. I told him how I felt and he walked away. Wait, Mr. Nice Guy just walked off? Kate nodded. Honey, tell me what happened. Kate recounted the details. He's right. Oh no, not you too. I'm afraid so, friend. Bruce is right. If you want him, go for it. What is the problem? Linda, it's not that easy. But it is that easy. You are the one making it difficult. You and only you. Kate sighed. I think I get it. Oh, but I don't think you do. Maybe you should give yourself time to think about it, Kate. You have to make a good decision for yourself. Now I hate to leave you, but I have a date tonight, so I have to go. Are you going to be okay? I will. And thanks for the listening ear. The two women hugged and Linda left Kate on the bench, trying to collect herself and her thoughts. Going home, all she could do was think of what had happened at the park. It had not seemed fair, especially since she expected things to go another way. Bruce was supposed to be happy that she wanted to be with him and that she was not worried about the fact that he was a millionaire. She just wanted to be with him. She spent the night trying to fight the tears and fight the urge to call Bruce. It just did not seem like he wanted to speak with her, and definitely not until she got things together in her mind. Kate decided she would give it a few days and wait until he called her. Maybe if she put the ball in his court, he would help guide them to being together. Instead, she spent the better part of the week waiting on him to call. When he did not call, she knew the gravity of the situation. She knew he did not want to deal with her immediately. Kate began to think about what was going on. She knew she had found the person she wanted to be with. She had to want it bad enough. Bruce wanted to be with her bad enough that he showed her daily. He told her daily. And what had she done? She had not reciprocated. She needed to do the same for him and show him the same affection. What she had in mind to do just had to work. Kate went out, picked up a few things for dinner and called a delivery service to send a small surprise to Bruce, and she sat back and hoped that he would call when he received his invitation to dinner. She went about making dinner, risotto, baked salmon, and twice-baked sweet potatoes. She opened the wine, lit the candles, and waited to hear from Bruce. The invitation asked him to arrive at 6 o'clock. It was 5 minutes to. The music was playing softly and Kate tried to busy herself waiting for him to show up. At 6 o'clock, there was no knock at the door. She was just about to lose hope when there was a knock at the door. Her heart skipped a beat. He was here. She practically skipped to the door. Kate took a deep breath as she opened the door. Hello. Bruce tried to look serious, but he smiled when he saw Kate standing there. He kissed her, handing her one white rose. Thank you. I am fine. Much better now that you are here. I was nervous that you would not come. I would never get your invitation and not show up. She invited him inside. They sat down to dinner with each other and had a comfortable conversation. Kate was happy they were able to return to a relaxed banter. Dinner was lovely. The company was even better. I agree, Kate replied. Sitting there by candlelight, they were more intimate than they had been in a while, and for Kate, it felt good just to have conversation if nothing else. I missed you, she confessed. Kate, I must admit that I missed you too. She breathed a sigh of relief. That is so good to hear. This is perfect. Why don't you come with me? All right, he picked up her glass and handed it to her and took his own as he followed her. They went to the balcony and outside where the weather was warm for a spring night. It's beautiful out here. Bruce sipped his wine. Beautiful weather and beautiful company. What could be better? Are we going to just be friendly all night? Kate was almost impatient when she asked him that question. Because I don't want to be friendly all night. What do you propose we do then? His question was almost taunting. True story. I was at work and in walks this guy. He can't dress, complete fashion victim. She laughed as Bruce made a funny face. So anyway, he walks into the boutique. There is something kind of endearing about him. I take him on as a client, go to his house for a fitting, and out of the blue, he asks me to go grab something to eat with him. I do, and find out that he's actually pretty good company. So we have good conversation, another date, and figure out we are pretty compatible. Have a lot in common, more than I thought we ever could. Here's where it gets good. This guy is intriguing, supportive, and an all-around great guy. The kind of guy a girl would be a fool not to be with. But here I am, not expecting to fall for anyone. Not expecting that anyone would come my way when I was simply trying to build my career, she sighed. He came along when I was trying to build my career and protect my heart. She suddenly became nervous. She would have to divulge a vulnerable part of herself. I had no clue I would ever want to give myself to anyone like I want with him. He makes me want more out of life. He is that spontaneous spark I have always wanted to have, but he is also that calming spirit that could slow me down when I work too hard. And to boot, he's a freaking cowboy. I don't know how I'm going to make this happen, you know, me and him. But I can't see it any other way. Bruce laughed. A freaking cowboy, huh? Yes, a freaking cowboy. I don't know how a stylish, fashionista like me attracted a rugged cowboy like you. It may have something to do with those big brown eyes, that smooth skin, and those gorgeous curves. Oh, wow. Okay. I can deal with that. I hope you can. He took her in his arms. His touch was so familiar, so wanted. She had craved his touch for the past few weeks since he had been gone. Kate closed her eyes and lived in the moment. It felt good to be there with him, and she did not hesitate to let Bruce know it. I'm so glad you came back, Bruce. I missed you terribly. He cupped her face in his hands, tilting her chin up to his. I missed you terribly. You just don't know how much. His kiss was exactly what she craved in that moment. His lips on hers, tongues dancing, arms wrapped around each other. When his hands slid down to her hips, she anticipated what was next. Wanting to feel more, needing to feel every inch of him. But this time, there was no urgency. It felt different. She knew she would be able to be with him whenever she wanted, because he was hers. So is it okay for me to admit now that I want to be with you, Bruce? It has always been okay for you to admit that. What I needed you to do was believe it. Kate licked her lips. That is the difference now. I'm glad you made me take the time to figure it out. He held her close, their bodies swaying with one another, skin warm to the touch because of the balmy springtime night air and the fact that their bodies were in sync with one another's needs. You know that you left an important part out of your story. I did? What part was that? The part where you mentioned that the cowboy was a rich man. He was able to take care of you and make sure you didn't have a worry in the world. He was able to make all of your dreams come true. Oh, she snapped her fingers. Yes. You're right. So let me go back to where I left off. The cowboy tells me that he's falling for me, and I feel like I have to decide between my feelings for him and my career and independence. Because he throws this curveball. He's a freaking millionaire. Can you believe that? Bruce shakes his head. Unbelievable. I know. Bruce grinned. So how do you handle it? Sounds like he laid some heavy info on you. Kate released herself from his embrace. She sipped the rest of her wine. It was touch and go there for a second. I did not understand what it was that he was trying to tell me. He was trying to spread some of that spontaneous spirit on me. Trying to get me to go with the flow. I did not get that at the time. I thought it was too much too soon. But a good friend talked to me about it, helped me to come to grips with my feelings. And it all started to make sense. I knew what I had to do. You ready for how the story ends? Now it was her turn to tease Bruce. Tell me. I sent him an invitation to come over for a candlelight dinner. I also sent him a coupon that entitles him to take me on a trip to France at any time he feels like it. And I wait. He shows up at my home, we have dinner, hash out our feelings. I tell him that his money doesn't make a difference to me because I care for him and he cares for me. We make mad passionate love, and all's well that ends well. Really? That's it? What else could there be? Let's see. Boy meets girl. Boy falls for girl. Girl falls for boy. Girl admits her feelings and says yes. Boy gets the girl. They live happily ever after. Isn't that the way it goes? Something like that. Let me show you what I was thinking. He took her glass of wine, set it on the table, and twirled her around until she was safely in his arms. The story goes something like this. I'm listening, Kate replied. Cowboy meets girl, cowboy falls head over heels for girl. Girl falls for the sexy, strapping, rugged cowboy. Girl says yes. Cowboy then makes mad, passionate love to his woman after they agree to be together, and they ride off into the sunset. And instead of it being an ending, it's more like a beginning. A kiss sealed the deal. A beginning? Now that's more like it. I like that story. Kate had finally found her beau. And she now knew that love could come at the most unexpected time, and that was okay with her. She found her cowboy, and life was all she wanted it to be. And she rode off with her cowboy into the sunset. The end.